Hi, everyone. I'm Alina Mitchell, the Learning Experience Specialist at the Jacobs Institute for Innovation and Education at the University of San Diego. If you could you please introduce yourself in the chat box? Just tell me your name and where you're from. Okay, while you're doing that, I'll continue. I'd like to welcome you to my Ed Innovation Expert webinar today. I'll be sharing a preview of my course entitled Purposeful Play for Educational Leaders, a Virtual Experience. And this is a part of the Professional Learning Certificate in Ed Innovation. It's going to be offered from July 6th through August 14th. Welcome, Christina. Before I begin, I'd like to talk a little bit about the certificate program itself. This program is designed for professionals who are interested in the emerging domain of ed innovation and the career opportunities within this space. It covers 3 areas, which includes learning experience, design, and emerging technology, educational innovation leadership, and entrepreneurship. So within this program, you could choose to either focus on one of these areas, or you can take courses throughout all 3. So at the end of this webinar, I'm going to email you a recorded copy of today's session and then contact information for the certificate program. So again, thank you for joining, and let's jump right into the presentation. If you have any questions along the way, feel free to type them in the chat box and I'll address them as we go along. How many of you like to play? I know I do. I always think it's fun when we as adults have an opportunity to let our guard down and stop being so serious all of the time and simply play. Play practice is of particular importance in any field, but especially in the field of education because it fosters creativity, innovation, and engagement. In education, there's this ongoing conversation of traditional versus non-traditional, and play helps to move us forward towards the non-traditional side. As you know, in the time of COVID-19, being able to yield positive outcomes in ways we never thought of before is extremely crucial. So being comfortable in the virtual space is especially important, and this course will focus on play from an EdTech perspective. I personally believe that when strategically applied, play can transform your organization and help you as a leader accomplish your goals, all while having fun at the same time. I'll help you to set realistic goals and guide you through play practice as it relates to your organization. Let me introduce myself and tell you a little bit more about my background. I've worked in the educational field professionally for well over a decade in various educational leadership positions. I'm currently the LX specialist here at the Jacobs Institute, former K-12 principal, former program coordinator for Morehouse School of Medicine's pipeline programs, founder and director of the Enrichment Through Science, Mathematics, Athletics, Research Training, I know that's a mouthful, or for short, eSmart Academy, and former instructor at the University of Alabama, Huntsville. So just a little fun fact about me, I'm also an author. I wrote a biographical book entitled The Color of Beauty. So having worked in several educational leadership positions, I understand the importance of having a vision and getting buy-in from your team. Play is an excellent approach to create positivity, connection, and a plan to motivate your staff and build your organization. When most people think about going to work, they don't think about play, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. So let's take a moment to stop and define the term purposeful play. Yes, it does mean you're having fun at work, but it's so much more than that. It's strategically and intentionally using play behaviors to transform your organizational culture, foster creativity, and build relationships. Here are a couple of quotes that I found that really embody the essence of purposeful play. So the first one is by the great philosopher and educational reformer, John Dewey, which states, "To be playful and serious at the same time is possible, and it defines the ideal mental condition." As an educational leader, with the massive and important workload you have, trust me, I know, I have definitely been there, it's very important to be serious while maintaining a lighthearted attitude at the same time. And then let's take a look at the second quote by former NYU professor James Carse. "To be serious is to press for a specified conclusion. To be playful is to allow for unlimited possibility." I really like the term unlimited possibility. I don't know about you, but when I'm relaxed and tensions are low, I'm able to produce more and ideas just seem to flow so much better. Did you know that some of the leading companies in the world, from Google to LinkedIn, incorporate purposeful play within their organizational culture? A study I want to share with you by the University of Tennessee researched the overall company's financial performance from 3,500 companies spread across 43 countries over a 12-year period ending in 2014. They found that companies with a higher score for employee friendliness or play practice achieved better returns on assets and equity than their peers with lower employee friendliness ratings. So to me, it's important to take a look at some of your leading companies to determine, which practices are beneficial to you. So, how does purposeful play look? In theory, it sounds like a great concept, but practically, what does that look like? I'm going to share with you a few examples of my own personal experiences with purposeful play. Okay. So here, you notice that we have some individuals wearing VR headsets. So I work for the Jacobs Institute at the University of San Diego, and we love tech play. So these pictures are actually taken from our innovation lab. When everything is up and normal and running, this is where we host a lot of our STEM workshops from. So using the VR headsets like Oculus and Steam VR is a norm for us. For Christmas one year, as a creative way to introduce the staff to new technology in our lab, and also as a form of team building and skill development, our office used a 3D painting app called Tilt Brush. And we used it to create our annual Christmas card to send out to our constituency. So the team was able to collaborate by, number one, selecting a festive theme, and then contributing his or her unique touch to this virtual masterpiece. So whether it was painting colorful bulbs on the tree or building a virtual snowman, everyone was able to collaborate and contribute. Once the painting was complete, it was printed and mailed out to all. So talk about fun with a purpose. This was definitely it. Okay, next, we're going to our next example here. Now, what you're looking at is a picture of me when I was a principal of a school in Lancaster. And this part of our school's style and culture was to build strong relationships with our stakeholders in the school and our educational community. So what better way than to provide play and fun opportunities, such as a school-wide ski trip to Wrightwood, and that's out here in California. Okay, and then my last example, as the director and founder of the eSmart Academy in Atlanta, Georgia, I led a school-wide STEAM initiative as a part of my overall vision for the program. In thinking about what would be an exciting way to introduce STEAM to teachers, parents, and students, I used my connections with the local Southern Sequestrian Scuba Diving Club to do a Discover Scuba for everyone at my school. This was an extraordinary opportunity and gave my program a strategic advantage because no one else was doing it in Atlanta, because Atlanta is a completely landlocked city. So scuba diving is, not something that, happens very much within the city. So the picture that you see up top is me during my open water certification checkout dive, because in order to convince colleagues, parents, and students to do this, I had to lead by example. And the picture at the bottom are my students and colleagues during their Discover Scuba course. So everyone loved this and they had so much fun. Oh, I do have one more example here. All right, this last example is one more here at the Jacobs Institute. Our organizational style and culture is all about innovation. So in preparation for an educators conference, we were planning to host in conjunction with a local school district. We took a trip to the happiest place on earth, also known as Disneyland. You can tell by the pictures that we're having lots of fun. And during this trip, we immersed ourselves in the playful Disney experience. But we also collected data that we would use to jumpstart discussions on the next day during a formal planning meeting with the team. So as you can see from my few examples, play can indeed be purposeful. And even though there are physical and even budgetary limitations, especially now due to COVID-19, there are still virtual play options available for you that can yield happiness and help you to achieve your organizational goals. Our work responsibilities are definitely still here, but the manifestation of what that work looks like is very different nowadays. The Purposeful Play for Educational Leaders course will run for 6 weeks, beginning on July 6th through August 14th. It's a fully online asynchronous course with weekly optional Zoom meetings that will be recorded and available for view afterwards. Students will receive 3 graduate extension credits towards your Ed Innovation Professional Learning Certificate. The article, Ideas Are Born in Fields of Play Towards a Theory of Play and Creativity in Organizational Settings, will serve as the conceptual framework for the topic of play. However, other relevant readings will be referenced throughout each module. The structural framework we will be using to examine your educational organization is the McKenzie 7 framework, which was introduced by McKenzie and Company and was featured in the book In Search of Excellence by Thomas Peters and Robert Waterman. It maps a constellation of interrelated factors that influence an organization's ability to change. If you notice, there is no hierarchy among these 7 factors, and this was done intentionally because significant progress in one part of the organization will be quite difficult without working on the others. In this course, we will use e-learning tools as our medium, purposeful play as the thematic concept, and the McKenzie 7S framework as our lens to create a digital portfolio customized to your own educational organization. The course is divided into 6 modules in which we will explore the foundation of purposeful play in educational leadership, examine current trends within this practice, strategically create a customized plan, design a digital portfolio, and culminate with virtual purposeful play presentations. So let's explore the portfolios for a moment. As we educators know, this is an excellent way to showcase and reference the work you've learned. Within your Purposeful Play digital portfolio, you will create a customized organizational strategic plan that outlines the 7S framework as it pertains to your educational organization. E-learning tools, I feel, are the best way to incorporate play virtually and grow your technology skills. So in this class, you can expect to podcast, 3D digital prototype, create virtual reality tours, delve into digital vision boarding and brainstorming. And an important item to note here is that all of the apps that we will be using are completely free. So lastly, I'd like for us to take a moment to view an example of one of the module activities you'll be engaging in. This is a Purposeful Play virtual reality tour that can be done with your team and can serve many organizational leadership purposes. As a school principal, whenever staff members went to professional development, it was a common practice for us to come back to our meetings and share our experiences and takeaways learned. So imagine with me for a moment, if you could, in addition to sharing your experience, take your colleague on a virtual tour of the place you visited. This tour could be done right from the comfort of your own home. So let's take a look at some of the places my coworkers at the Jacobs Institute went this past year. Okay. All right. Okay, so now you are viewing the Purposeful Play with JI. And so each year we are able to go to different professional development opportunities to build our knowledge, skills, and abilities by attending different conferences. So let's take a look at where we have gone. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Dr. Yaron Lee, who is our data research scientist. She traveled to Hawaii for a convention, the National Diversity in STEM Conference in Honolulu. So what you're looking at now is the Hawaii Convention Center. So let's find Yaron in this picture. Okay, there she is. So here's Yaron in the lobby area of the convention center where she checked in each morning before attending her workshops. So if you were actually in a virtual meeting, this would be a great time for Yaron to share about her experiences and about some of the Vismo research that she presented. And then just for fun, let's go to the next scene. So let's take a look at where Yaron stayed during her visit to Hawaii. So we're looking at Honolulu Beach Road. And this is definitely a beautiful view, a place that I would like to be at right now. Let's find Yaron in this picture. There she is. All right, so let's continue on. So now we're going to travel to Dallas, Texas, and we are looking at the Irving Convention Center. Christina, our office coordinator, went here to go to the Digital Summit. And so let's find Christina in this picture. Here she is. And so every day she would come to the convention center and check into the lobby before she would go to her workshops. And again, if this was a virtual meeting, this would be a great opportunity for Christina to share some of her experiences with the team and some of the takeaways that she learned. And then just for fun, here is the Museum of Art in Dallas. So, of course, there are plenty of tourist attractions that Christina could visit, but she went to the Museum of Art here. And if you notice, it's a very beautiful setting here with these beautiful flowers. So let's find Christina here in the picture. There she is. And then she could share just for fun her experiences in visiting this place and other tourist attractions. Let's continue on to the next scene. Now, Dr. Lisa Dolly, who is our executive director, was invited to a conference in Italy. She hasn't been yet. Unfortunately, they had to postpone it due to the coronavirus, but she was invited to speak at the U.S. Italian Innovation Festival. And so we are looking at the location of this festival. So let's find Lisa in the picture. There she is. And so this is where the conference was held. And then she could talk about some of the research that she was actually going to present at her conference. And then just for fun, here is one of the places that Lisa could visit when she is able to actually go to Italy. And this is Pompeii. And so here she enjoys the views of Pompeii, the vast archaeological site that features excavated rooms of the streets and houses. So let's find Lisa in this picture. There she is. And so this would be a great opportunity to just talk about this place and other tourist attractions that she would like to visit. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. Okay. All right, so this tour can be downloaded to the free app, Google Expeditions, and be viewed on a cell phone, computer, and iPad for completely free. And if you wanted to enhance the experience for yourself or your team, you could invest in a VR headset like this one for $20 or less. The sky is, I'll do this one more time. The sky is really the limit as to what you can do. You could even take your team on a customized virtual company trip. And this is just an example of one of the skills amongst several that you will be learning within this course. And this is a way that you can enhance play practice in your organization. So if there are any comments or questions, feel free to type it in the chat at this time. And thank you so much for your time and attention.